Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 18th of September 2021. You can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affair. So watch this video till last. But I am requesting you all the students that you have to download our application from the description box link, and name of the application is Careers Cloud. And after that you can log in with the email ID, and then you can click on this crack current affairs section to subscribe our current affairs for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low, but the most important thing that we are covering 90 to 95% of that current affairs which can come in every type of exam. This is the genuinity, this is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. But how we are covering this current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily section you will receive three things. One is the detailed current affair, second is the question and answer format, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next is the weekly section. Again you will receive three things. One is the detail, second is the question and answer format, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. Next and the most important is monthly, and we are providing four type of PDFs. One is the detail, second is the question and answer format of current affairs. Next is the best 100 current affair, that is also provided in the form of question and answer and the pocket PDF. It means the 2-liner and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise the current affair very quickly before your exam. But to enhance your performance further, we are also providing topic wise current affair, and we are covering 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam. It means if you want to cover one topic related news just from single PDF, then you can use this topic wise PDF. And if you are a banking student, we are providing three things. One is the detail, second is the question and answer format, and third is the quiz section, which is only related to banking and economy. But you can attempt this quiz only on our application on monthly basis. If you want to cover all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then you can use this exam PDF. We are also providing detailed budget and economic survey. Also expected question and answer will be provided to you related to budget and economic survey, so that you can recall that these type of questions can come from budget and economic survey. And if you are appearing for your respective state exam, it means if you are preparing for your state exam, then we are providing state current affairs to enhance your performance further, and we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under only one subscription. You have to just download our application Careers Cloud from the description box link. You have to log in with the email ID and then click on this crack current affair section to subscribe a current affair especially for 1 year as well as for 2 year. Both the subscription prices are very much low, but if you are a new student, you are just starting your preparation, then I am advising you to subscribe for 2 year, because there is no price difference, basically very less price difference between the 1 year subscription as if you are comparing with the 2 year subscription. But on the both subscription, we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. If you have any query, you can email us on this email ID or on this number. If you have any type of query, you can call us. So let's start 18th of September 2021, and we are starting with the most important question section. But first of all, you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. You can join our Telegram group for official notifications from the description box. So here is the first question. Recently, International Olympic Committee has suspended which country until the end of 2022? So, most important question because it is related to International Olympic Committee, and this organization suspended one country until the end of 2022. It means this country cannot participate, even cannot participate in any event of the Olympics. So, or you can say any event organized by International Olympic Committee. And this country is not South Korea, this country is South Korea. No, this country is North Korea. So remember, the International Olympic Committee has suspended North Korea until the end of 2022 as it failed to send a team to the Tokyo Games. No team was sent by North Korea in the Olympics of 2020, or you can say in Tokyo Olympics. So that's why International Olympic Committee has suspended North Korea until the end of 2022. So answer of this question is B. So you can see here, International Olympic Committee suspended North Korea until the end of 2022 after it failed to send a team to the Tokyo Games. And you can also remember that it is just to protect its athletes. North Korea, why North Korea didn't send any of the player or the team? Because they want to protect its athlete from the COVID-19. North Korea did not send a delegation to the Tokyo Games. And with this suspension, the country will miss the Beijing Winter Games. Remember, Beijing Winter Games of 2022, and it will not receive financial aid during this suspension. It means till 2022, International Olympic Committee will not send any type of the financial aid. And International Olympic Committee also reserves the right to make decision on any individual North Korean athlete who qualify for Beijing 2022 or Beijing Winter Games 2022 and to reconsider the duration of the country suspension. It is all the right of International Olympic Committee. They can also reconsider it. And remember about International Olympic Committee, headquarters is in Lausanne. Lausanne is in Switzerland, and president is Thomas Bach. Thomas Bach. So you can remember. Now we are moving to next question. Which country became the first nation to test a submarine launched ballistic missile without nuclear weapon? This is again most important because submarine launched ballistic missile recently launched by North Korea, but it was with nuclear weapons. But we are talking about first country who tested submarine launched ballistic missile without nuclear weapon, and this country is South Korea. Again, now firstly we did the question about North Korea, now we are with the South Korea. So after North Korea, now South Korea successfully test fired a submarine launched ballistic missile, becoming the 7th country in the world to do so. So 7th country. Other countries are like who tested this, you can say submarine launched ballistic missile are Russia, United States of America, China, Britain, France, North Korea, and India also there. So all these countries tested this submarine launched ballistic missile, and South Korea is the 7th country. So you have to remember. And South Korea successfully test launched submarine launched ballistic missile. This is the basically submarine, and this is the launching of the missile. And you can also see here this submarine launched ballistic missile was fired underwater from its newly commissioned 3000-ton class Dosan An Chang Ho submarine. So the name of the submarine from which this missile was launched, this is Dosan An Chang Ho, and it has been code named the Hyunmo 44. You have to remember this because this is very important. Earlier North Korea tested the same missile, but the name was Hyunmo 2B. So this was the name of North Korea missile. But if we are talking about the South Korea missile, then answer of this question is Hyunmo 4 into 4. And total capability is 500 km. It means total range is 500 km. And the aim of this test is to counter North Korea's growing defense capabilities. And it also became the first country without nuclear weapons to develop such a system. This is very important. And remember about South Korea. South Korea capital is Seoul, and currency is South Korean won. And you can also remember about the president Moon Jae-in. Moon Jae-in. So he is currently the president of South Korea. Moving to next question. Who has appointed as the new chief executive officer of Yahoo? Again, most important question because we are talking about very famous company Yahoo here. So Yahoo has appointed Lim Lanzone. So you have to remember the answer. Answer of this question is C. Who was earlier the CEO of very famous company Tinder, now become the chief executive officer of this company Yahoo. And remember, before Lim Lanzone, there was position of chief executive officer lies with Guru Gurappan. So earlier the chief executive officer was Guru Gurappan, but now Guru Gurappan has named as the senior advisor to the Apollo's private equity business, because I think all the students know that Yahoo is now acquired by Apollo Management Group in the range of 5 billion USD. 5 billion USD. So you have to remember now Yahoo acquired by Apollo Management Group for 5 billion USD. So this is very big news. And new CEO, you have to remember, it is Lim Lanzone. So this is important, and you can also remember other appointments. Rashmi Ranjan Das, she was recently appointed as the member of United Nations Tax Committee. And she was appointed for the time period of 5 years, 2021 to 25. Next, Vinay Prakash, he was recently appointed as resident grievance officer for India by Twitter, because of the Twitter issue with the government. So that's why he was appointed as the resident grievance officer of Twitter in India by Twitter. Next is Sudhanshu Mittal, again very important appointment because he was recently appointed as president of Kho Federation. Moving to next question. All the most important questions we covered. Now we are moving to very important question section. You have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. You can join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the question. Which organization discontinued ease of doing business report? So most important question we can cover under this, but you can also cover very important because they discontinued this ease of doing business, and this report every year is published by World Bank. Now World Bank decided to discontinue this ease of doing business report. Why they discontinued? Because after the finding data irregularities in the country's ranking in 2018 as well as in 2020 reports, they decided to discontinue ease of doing business report. And you can also see here World Bank discontinues ease of doing business report. So you can mark even in the most important section. And in ease of doing business 2018 report, China was ranked 78th earlier, but after making correction in the various indicator, its position dropped by 7 positions. And now in the 2018 ranking, China was on the 85th in the ease of doing business. So this is due to irregularities finding. That's why this report discontinued. And first edition of this report was published in the year of 2003. And India was ranked on the 63rd position in the 2020 ease of doing business, which was topped by New Zealand. This is the most important thing you have to remember. India's rank in the 2020 ease of doing business, because it is the last ease of doing business ranking. After that, it is now discontinued. So India's 63rd rank, and it is topped by New Zealand. And you can also remember World Bank published very important report which is known as World, you can say Global Gender Report, not World, Global Gender Gap Report, Gender Gap Report. So basically it is not published by World Bank, it is published by World Economic Forum, not by the World Bank. Global Gender Gap Report is published by World Economic Forum. One more report is published by World Economic Forum, that is Human Capital Report. Human Capital Report. So you can remember IMF also published very important report, that is World Economic Outlook, very famous World Economic Outlook. I am repeating again, World Economic Outlook report is published by International Monetary Fund. Next, Global Gender Gap Report and Human Capital Report is published by World Economic Forum. And World Bank publishes two more reports like World Development Report, and second is Global Economic Prospectus, Global Economic Prospectus. UNDP also published Human Development Index. That is again very important. Human Development Index is published by UNDP. So all these reports are very, very famous, and these publishing agencies or the international organizations are very important. Moving to next question. What will be the theme of the next annual meeting of the World Economic Forum 2022? So World Economic Forum announced that its next annual meeting with the theme of working together, restoring trust. So answer of this question is D, will be held at Davos, that is natural place of World Economic Forum in Switzerland from 17th of January to 21st of January 2022. So 2022 World Economic Forum, exact place is Davos, and the theme is working together, restoring trust. So the yearly gathering in 2021 was skipped due to the safety and the health concerns, and main objective is to emphasize on rebuilding trust and shaping a more sustainable future. And it is also to bring together forward-thinking leaders to drive multi-stakeholder collaboration and to address the world's most pressing economic, political and the societal challenge. It means the economic, political and the social challenges. And it is also to tackle the climate change, build a better future for work. So you have to remember answer of this question is D. So you can see here World Economic Forum to host next annual meeting in Davos, January 2022. 2021 meeting was skipped due to the safety and the health concerns after pandemic. And you have to remember World Economic Forum 2022 theme is working together, restoring trust. Moving to next question. Which company issued India's first ever Euro green bond? So this is again very important. This is basically green bond. You have to remember what is the meaning of this green bond. So green bond is a debt instrument with which capital is being raised to fund green projects, which typically include related to like renewable energy, clean transportation, sustainable water management. So the investment will be on these type of projects. And this first ever Euro green bond is issued by Power Finance Corporation. So answer of this question is C. It means the money will be raised in the form of Euro, and they will invest this money in the renewable energy, in the climate change projects, in the water sustainability. So all type of projects will be covered under this green bonds. So answer should be remembered, that is Power Finance Corporation. And what is the tenure of these bonds? You can remember here. The tenure is 7 years, and the total outstanding money is 300 million euro. So you have to remember 300 million euro. and the issuance got participation from around 82 accounts and the oversubscribed 2.65 times by the institutional investor across Asia and the Europe. And it is the first ever euro denominated green bond issuance from the India. So you have to remember this because this is again very important. And you can also remember that World Bank is the major issuer of the green bonds. And in India, Yes Bank was the first bank to issue green bonds. First bank to issue green bonds, and it was issued in 2015 for financing renewable and the clean energy projects. And recently we covered in question like in April 2021, I think, Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation. Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation, a civic body in the Uttar Pradesh, has become India's first municipal corporation to successfully list the country's first green municipal bonds on the Bombay Stock Exchange in 2021. So remember, World Bank is a major issuer of the green bonds. Yes Bank was the first bank who issued green bond in 2015, and in the municipal corporation it is Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation, a civic body in the Uttar Pradesh. So you can remember all these things. Now we are talking about Power Finance Corporation. Remember, this organization was established in 1986. Its chairman and managing director is Shri Ravinder Singh Dhillon, but it is not important. Ravinder Singh Dhillon, and head office is in New Delhi, and it comes under the Ministry of Power Finance Corporation. But you can also remember the last question here, World Economic Forum. Yes, you can remember about World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum headquarters is in Cologne. It is in Switzerland again. Its founder is Klaus Schwab. You can remember full name, Klaus Schwab. And World Economic Forum was established in 1971. So in this question, you can also remember about World Bank here. Again, this is very important that World Bank headquarters is in Washington DC. World Bank was established in 1944, and also you can remember that World Bank president is David R. Malpass, and total member countries are 189. So all the questions now we covered. Very important information. Moving to next question. Who is appointed as the chairperson of InSpace? InSpace. This question is very important because we are talking about very important organization of the Indian government, and this organization is InSpace. What is the meaning of this InSpace? India, or you can say Indian National Space Promotion Authorization Center. Promotion Authorization Standards. IN stands for Indian National, S stands for Space, P stands for Promotion, A stands for Authorization, CE stands for Center. And who is appointed? It is Pawan Kumar Goenka. So answer of this question is B. So remember this question as same as in slide, and he was appointed as the chairperson of this organization by the Appointments Committee of India. What is the work of this InSpace organization? So in 2020, the center government established this organization under the Department of Space as the nodal agency for regulating private companies in the space sector. So it is just to regulate the private companies or the startups in the space sector. That's why this organization was made, and new chairperson is Pawan Kumar Goenka. But you can also remember other appointments. Nakul Chopra is here. He was recently appointed as the CEO of Broadcast Audience Research Council, BARC, Broadcast Audio Research Council. Next is Carol Furtado. She recently become the interim or the temporary CEO of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, because recently the CEO of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, Nitin Chugh, resigned. Next, Amit Banerjee. He was recently appointed as chairman and managing director of Bharat Earth Movers Limited. Remember, Bharat Earth Movers Limited, chairman and managing director is Amit Banerjee. All the appointments are very important. Next question is, which bank and Indian Institute of Science Bengaluru are collaborating to set up an artificial intelligence and machine learning center, especially in the building of IISc? It means it will be established in Bengaluru at the campus of IISc. And this bank is Kotak Mahindra Bank. So Kotak Mahindra Bank Limited and Indian Institute of Science Bengaluru are collaborating to set up an artificial intelligence and machine learning center at IISc campus in Bengaluru, Karnataka. So the main aim is just to boost research and development and innovation in the field of artificial intelligence as well as in the machine learning. So it is an initiative under the corporate social responsibility of the Kotak Mahindra Bank. So you can remember here, Kotak and IISc to set up artificial intelligence machine learning center in Bengaluru. And you can also remember about 2 or 3 things about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence word firstly coined in 1956, and this word was coined by John McCarthy. Remember John McCarthy. So this was the person who coined this word artificial intelligence. And remember one more thing, IIT Hyderabad. IIT Hyderabad was the first Indian education institution who started BTech in artificial intelligence. This was again most famous question. IIT Hyderabad was the first institute from India who is offering BTech in the artificial intelligence. And remember about Kotak Mahindra Bank, it was established in 2003. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Its MD and CEO is Uday Kotak. Uday Kotak. Next question is, who launched loan against mutual fund scheme recently? Again, very simple question. You can just remember this question as same as slide. It is Tata Capital. Answer of this question is C. So Tata Capital, the financial service wing of Tata Sons, launched a first of its kind digital banking scheme which is called loan against mutual funds. And you can also see here Tata Capital launched this scheme, and the scheme offers instant loans ranging from 5 lakh to 2 crore. It means the minimum limit will be the 5 lakh and maximum can be the 2 crore. And it is to the consumers on their existing mutual funds maintained by the various asset management companies. It means if you own mutual fund, then by pledging these mutual fund, you can take loan from the Tata Capital. And under this loan against mutual fund, Tata Capital offers end-to-end digital loans starting from the onboarding of the customers till loan disbursement. It means all the onboarding and even the disbursement will be digital. So it means all things are digital. And the loans can be availed as an overdraft facility or as a term loan to meet the personal and the business loan requirement of the customer. Tata Capital is not so much important. You can just remember it is a group of Tata Son, and MD and CEO is Rajiv Sabharwal, and it was established in 2007. Its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra, but it is not important. Just remember loan against mutual fund. This is the keyword for you. Next question is, who won the Women's Prize for Fiction 2021? Who won Women's Prize for Fiction 2021? And the name of the fictional novel is Piranesi. Piranesi. So remember, name of the novel is Piranesi. It is a mystery novel about a man living alone in a you can say hilly house. So this is a mystery novel, and it is about a man living alone in a hilly house. So the name of the novel is Piranesi. So it is a fictional novel, and this is written by Susanna Clarke. So answer of this question is A, Susanna Clarke. So British author, she belongs to Britain, so that's why she is a British author. Susanna Clarke won the Women's Prize for the Fiction 2021 for her second novel, a fantasy novel titled as Piranesi, a mystery novel about a man living alone in a hilly house. And the book was published by Bloomsbury's Publishing, but you don't have to remember the publishing house here. And she published her debut novel in 2004. Because this is the second novel, and she published the first novel in 2004, and name is Jonathan Strange. Jonathan Strange. This was the name of the first novel, but you don't have to remember. You have to just remember the static question only. Women Prize for Fiction 2021. Answer of this question is Susanna Clarke, and she belongs to Britain, and name of the novel is Piranesi. So these awardees are again very famous, like Dr. Rajendra Kishore Panda. He recently won Kuvempu Rashtriya Puraskar. Muhammad Yunus, very famous economist, and you can say he recently awarded as Olympian, or you can say Olympic laurel at the Tokyo Games. Next is Valeria Luiselli. She won the International Dublin Literary Prize for 2021 for her novel Lost Children Archive. So remember all the awards. I am repeating again. Dr. Rajendra Kishore Panda. He recently won Kuvempu Rashtriya Puraskar. Muhammad Yunus, very famous economist from the Bangladesh, and he was awarded as the Olympic laurel at the Tokyo Games. And Valeria Luiselli, she recently won the Dublin Literary Prize for 2021 for her novel Lost Children Archive. Next question is, which payment bank appointed Pankaj Tripathi, very versatile actor and one of my favorite actor, Pankaj Tripathi of Mirzapur, as its first brand ambassador? So I am talking about one payment bank, and answer of this question is Fino Payment Bank. You can also see here Pankaj Tripathi, Fino Payment Bank appointed Pankaj Tripathi as its brand ambassador. And you can also remember he will endorse the brand for a period of 2 years. It means the contract was signed for the time period of 2 years. And he will be the face of Fino Payment Bank Limited as a Fikr Not campaign. Fikr Not campaign, which aims to reduce the fears and the confidence issues related to the banking process. So remember, just the name is Pankaj Tripathi of Mirzapur. And Fino Payment Bank was established in 2017. Its MD and CEO is Rishi Gupta. Rishi Gupta. And its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and tagline is Kadar Aapki Mehnat Ki. Kadar Aapki Mehnat Ki. Moving to next question. IIFL Home Finance signs co-lending agreement with which bank? Again, very important because we are talking about co-lending partnership. So IIFL Home Finance signed already 3 co-lending agreement with the other 3 banks. So you have to just remember the 4th bank here. This is Punjab National Bank. Answer of this question is C, and you can also see here Punjab National Bank. So it is the 4th co-lending agreement of the IIFL Home Finance Limited with the banks. Earlier, the company has signed co-lending agreement with 3 different banks. One is the ICICI Bank, second is Central Bank of India, next is Standard Chartered Bank of India. Standard Chartered Bank, you can say India because it is a foreign bank basically. So ICICI Bank, you can say Central Bank of India and Standard Chartered Bank, and all the agreements are the co-lending agreements, and according to the RBI guidelines, under the co-lending agreement, NBFC have to pay minimum to minimum 20% in their books, and banks can maximum to maximum 80% in their books. So this can be the ratio of the loan amount. So PNB can raise maximum to maximum 80%, and IIFL Finance minimum to minimum 20% they have to give for the loan. And the main objective is to increase the penetration of the affordable housing loans and secured MSMEs loans. And the co-lending agreement with the PNB, India's second largest public sector bank, where 80% of the loan will be provided by the PNB. So you can remember this. And remember about Punjab National Bank here. Punjab National Bank was established in 1894, and its chief executive officer is S.S. Mallikarjun Rao. S.S. Mallikarjun Rao, and its headquarters is in New Delhi, not in Mumbai. You can remember. Headquarters is in New Delhi, and tagline is the name you can bank upon. The name you can bank upon. Next question is, who become the new brand ambassador of Essex? Recently, Ravinder Jadeja was appointed as the brand ambassador of Essex, but now Joshanna Chipanna recently appointed as the brand ambassador of Essex, very famous shoe brand. And the Japanese sports equipment company Essex announced Indian squash player Joshanna Chinnappa as its new brand ambassador. So remember, she belongs to which state? She belongs to Tamil Nadu, Chennai. She belongs to Tamil Nadu, and she is a very famous squash player of India. And she is currently ranked as the 10th worldwide player, and she is a 2-time Asian Championship gold medalist also. So you can remember all these things, and it will bring positive change by spreading awareness about the sports among the youth. Joshanna Chinnappa. So you can also see here the picture of Joshanna. Essex announces Joshanna Chinnappa as the brand ambassador. So it will bring positive change by the spreading awareness about the sports among the youth. And you can also remember Hyper Ice announces Virat Kohli as the athlete investor and the brand ambassador also. So recently a global wellness brand which is known as Hyper Ice announced that Indian cricketer Virat Kohli appointed as an athlete investor and the brand ambassador of this company which is known as Hyper Ice. It is a wellness brand, and Virat Kohli has joined as an athlete investor with several other sports persons like you can say tennis player Naomi Osaka and footballer Erling Haaland, and Naomi Osaka is very famous in tennis, and remember this, she recently won the Australian Open 2021. So Hyper Ice announces Virat Kohli as the brand ambassador, and Essex recently announced Joshanna Chinnappa as the brand ambassador. And remember about Joshanna Chinnappa, she belongs to Tamil Nadu. She is very famous squash player, and she is the world number 10 player. So that is very important. And you can also remember the other brand ambassadors like PR Shrijesh. He was recently appointed as the brand ambassador of Adventure Tourism in the state of Kerala. Vandana Kataria, she was recently appointed as the brand ambassador of Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand, very famous department is Women Empowerment and the Child Development. John Ibrahim, he was recently appointed as the Indian brand ambassador of the MotoGP. Moving to next, who launched Earth circling private trip with no professionals? So again, very famous question. This organization is SpaceX. Answer of this question is D. So for the first is SpaceX launched Falcon 9 rocket. This series belongs to SpaceX with all amateur and tourist crew from Kennedy Space Center at United States of America, or you can say in Florida. And you can also see here all the 4 amateurs on private Earth circling trip. and a crew included 38-year-old billionaire, that is Jared Isaacman, and who sponsored this trip? It is the Jared Isaacman. Next is Hele, Sian Protocol, and Chris, a 42-year-old who claimed his seat through an online raffle. So four basically persons who are not basically professional or the space experts. They traveled at an altitude of almost 575 kilometer. So Jared Isaacman, who was the sponsor of this trip, is the leading flight attender. So you can remember Jared Isaacman, and who also sponsored this trip. And the Dragon capsule aimed for an altitude of 575 kilometer just beyond the Hubble Space Telescope. Hubble Space Telescope. And the Dragon capsule is in which they are boarded with circle around the planet for 3 days. For 3 days, expected to reach on Earth on the 18th of September, that is on Saturday. And this Halley, you can remember, Halley is the first youngest American in space and the first person with prosthesis. With prosthesis. So you can remember, I am repeating again, this Halley is the first youngest American in space and the first person with prosthesis, a titanium rod in her leg basically. So that's why we are using this word prosthesis. And remember about SpaceX. SpaceX founder and CEO is Elon Musk, and it was founded in 2002. Headquarters is in United States of America, California. So moving to next question. Ayush Ministry signed MOU with which country to enhance export potential of the traditional medicine? So this is United States of America. Answer of this question is D. Similar type of agreement we signed with Australia so that we can promote the Ayush medicines, or you can say the traditional medicines. So the both countries will collaborate on framing the safety and standards for Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, homeopathy drugs for the quicker adaptation in the US market. Under this collaboration, a joint committee will be framed for the developing an action plan along with the development of the monographs in the traditional medicine. So it is United States of America, so that we can promote the traditional medicines in the United States of America. And both the countries will work on the promotion of the traditional medicines in the international level of the global acceptance. But you have to remember about Ministry of Ayush here. Who is the Union Minister? It is Sarvananda Sonowal, who is not member either of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. He is not a member. But there is a provision in the constitution that if a person is not a member of Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, then he can become Prime Minister or Minister, but maximum time period is 6 months. Maximum time period is 6 months. Within 6 months, he has to become either a member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So let's see what will happen. But Sarvananda Sonowal is now the Union Minister of Ayush Ministry. And Ayush stands for Ayurveda, Yoga and Neuropathy, Unani, Siddha and the homeopathy. And it was this ministry was created by Modi ji in 2014. So you can remember this. Moving to next, which bank received Rajbhasha Kirti Puraskar? So this is not so much important question because so many banks, even so many organizations, so many public sector units won this Rajbhasha Kirti Puraskar. But if you want to eliminate, then answer of this question is all of these. D is the answer. Punjab National Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, Union Bank of India, and even you can say Punjab and Sindh Bank. Punjab and Sindh Bank, all the four banks have won this Rajbhasha Kirti Puraskar. So this award was given on the occasion of Hindi Divas 2021. So our Union Minister of Home Amit Shah and also the Union Minister of Corporation presented this Rajbhasha Kirti and Rajbhasha Gaurav awards to the ministries, departments and public undertakings who have done excellent work in the official language during 2018-19, 19-20 and 2021, in the last 3 years you can say. So you can see here, Home Minister Amit Shah presented Rajbhasha Kirti and the Rajbhasha Gaurav awards. And Punjab National Bank has won the first prize in the Rajbhasha Kirti Puraskar for the year of 2020-21. And Bank of Maharashtra and Punjab Sindh Bank also won the Rashtrabhasha Kirti Puraskar. And even 4 public sector units. One is the Bharat Electronics Limited, second is Bharat Dynamics Limited, Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, that is also known as Visakhapatnam, and National Minerals Development Corporation also won. These all 4 organizations also won the Rajbhasha Kirti Puraskar. So you can just remember Rajbhasha Kirti Puraskar and Rajbhasha Gaurav Puraskar was given on the occasion of Hindi Divas. Moving to next question, it is our important question section. You have to like this video, share this video and subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. who launched a report on reforms in the urban planning capacity in India. This is very famous report, and this report is basically released by Niti Aayog. So answer of this question is A. So the report has been developed by the Niti Aayog over a period of 9 months. Total 9 months taken to prepare this report. And this report is prepared in consultation with the concerned ministries and eminent experts in the domain of the urban and the regional planning. So very famous outcomes are here, like I am just writing here. First outcome is like India is home of 11% of the total global urban population and will surpass China as the most populous country in the world by 2027. So India will become the most populous country after 2027 or in 2027. So this is the result of this report. And every city must aspire to become healthy city by the year of 2030. So every city should have prepare a target so that this city can become a healthy city for all by 2030. And third is, in this regard, a central scheme of 500 healthy cities program for a period of 5 years has been recommended. So this is recommended under this report that we have to select 500 cities so that we can implement a program, that is healthy city program, for the time period of 5 years, and we can make these cities very much healthy by the year of 2030. So this is Niti Aayog. It was established on 1st Jan 2015. Its CEO is Amitabh Kant. Its chairman is Dr. Rajiv Kumar. Chairman is basically Prime Minister. Deputy chairman is or vice chairman is Dr. Rajiv Kumar. Moving to next question. Who will be the chairman of a high-level expert committee to review for the National Cadet Corps, that is NCC? So it is a 15-member committee, and this committee is basically established by Ministry of Defense. Ministry of Defense, it means Rajnath Singh ji, and it is a high-level expert committee, and the chairman will be Bajyant Panda, who was the former member of parliament. Remember, chairman will be Bajyant Panda, and it is to the review the National Cadet Corps. So the committee will be responsible for suggesting measures to empower NCC cadets to contribute more effectively towards the national development. And the committee will also recommend best practices of similar international youth organizations for the inclusion in the NCC curriculum. So total members are 15, and including chairman, and chairman is Bajyant Panda. Mahendra Singh Dhoni is a member. Anand Mahindra, also member. Rajyavardhan Singh Rathod, member of parliament, also member. So these, Mahendra Singh Dhoni is also the member of this committee. So you can also remember. So you can see here, this is Rajnath Singh ji who formed this expert level committee. Moving to our one-liner important point, here is the first point. Yahoo appoints Tinder CEO Jim Lanzone as its new CEO. We already covered this question. World Patient Safety Day 2021 observed on the 17th of September. So you can see here the main theme is safe maternal and newborn care. So you have to remember this main theme here, safe maternal and newborn care. This is important. And this day is basically observed by World Health Organization, and it is to promote the aspects of the patient safety and reduce patient harm. And 17th September 2021 marks the third World Patient Safety, and theme, all you know, safe maternal and the newborn care. So remember these things, and remember about World Health Organization. Its director general is Ted Ross, and Ted Ross belongs to Ethiopia, and headquarters is in Geneva, and it was founded in 1948. So now we are moving to the next. Former Gabonese or the Gabon Prime Minister Casimir Oye Maba dies in Paris. So the former Prime Minister of Gabon, Casimir Oye Maba, passed away due to COVID-19 in the Paris, and he was 79 years old. He served as the Prime Minister of Gabon in 1990 to 1994 for the time period of 4 years. And what is the capital of Gabon? Capital is Libreville, and the currency is Central African or CFA franc. Next, Central forms group of ministers for implementation of schemes for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, other backward classes, women, and the you can say minorities. So the government of India constituted a group of ministers chaired by the Defence Minister, again Rajnath Singh ji, to improve the implementation of various schemes which are prepared for the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward classes, minorities, or for the women. And the first meeting of this group of ministers was held at the residence of the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh ji, and the main objective is to work for the improvement and empowerment and prosperity of the backward classes and the minorities. Next, World Bank discontinues ease of doing business report. So we already covered this question, and you can remember India's rank in the world ease of doing business was 63rd. So it was 2020 report. It means the last report of ease of doing business. And which country topped? New Zealand topped under this index. Cabinet approves guarantee of up to rupees 30,600 crore to the bank security receipt to be issued by National Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. So this is NARCL, which was formed by the Government of India recently, and as a part of the resolution of bad loans, the Union Cabinet approved a government guarantee of up to rupees 30,000 crore almost to back security receipts for the time period of 5 years, which will be issued by NARCL. And it has incorporated under the Companies Act of 2013. You have to remember about NARCL. It was incorporated under the Companies Act of 2013 and has applied to Reserve Bank of India for a license as an asset reconstruction company. And what will they do? It will pick up bad loans from a certain threshold from the banks and in turn provide government guaranteed security receipts to banks as it takes on non-performing asset from their books. So that's why they will issue security receipts and they will pick the bad loan so that these bad loan can be converted into the assets. So you can also remember this. So we are moving to the question of the day. What was the question of 17th of September 2021? Which one of the following links all the ATMs in India? So you have to tell me the name of the organization. So many students answered this question, and answer of this question is very simple. Answer is National Payment Corporation of India. So answer of this question is C, NPCI. So NPCI basically founded in 2008 and its currently head is Dilip Asbe. And NPCI exercises this role through its wing which is known as IDRBT. This is. So it is Institute for Development of Research in Banking Technology. I am repeating again, Institute for Development of Research in Banking Technology. So this is created a massive network called National Financial Switch in the year of 2004 for linking all the ATMs in India. So remember, it is organized by NPCI. Under NPCI, there is an organ which is known as IDRBT. It stands for Institute for Development of Research in Banking Technology. And under this organization, a massive network was created which is known as National Financial Switch Network in the year of 2004 for linking all the ATMs in India. And NPCI also provide a variety of services like RuPay card, BHIM application, Unified Payment Interface, BHIM UPI, check truncation system, Aadhaar enabled payment system. So all these facilities are provided by NPCI. Remember, it was created in 2008 and its head is Dilip Asbe. So moving to the question of the day, what is the question? In the post-independence period, economic reforms were first introduced in India under which committee or under which government? So you have to tell me the answer very precisely and I am waiting your answer. All students have to answer in the comment box. So please like this video, share this video as maximum as possible and please subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. And press this bell button and join our Telegram group from the description box for the future notification, and it is a Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section. And don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.